Yeah, we're gonna start soon. Just need to wait for my coffee timer. This is Beans. Yeah, a lot of people have the same cat, but I don't know if it's really the same cat. He doesn't like being held that much. He gets nervous for live streams. I got like a minute before my coffee's ready. Be right back. All right. Well, I guess we'll start. So, welcome to the stream. Thank you, everyone, for coming to hang out today. The goal of this stream is to get started on a chart showing the different features of control surfaces, or the control surface extensions for Reaper, things that people have made for using control surfaces within Reaper. Because, yeah, I've done 3 videos in this series already. I need to get a lot of things organized, because it's all just kind of jumbled up in my head still. There's stuff in the videos, which was like 2 hours of recording, edited down to like 30 minutes. There's tons of stuff that I just forgot to talk about. Some stuff got cut, some stuff I said wrong and got cut, and some features that I just never got to try or really explore. So I want to kind of get things into categories, and you guys are going to help me with that, just to make it all make sense in my mind, and as a future reference for people that get a controller and they want to know what's the, like, which one to at least ignore from the start, because there's pros and cons in all of them. Let's kind of like rank them with some sort of numerical value or something like that. So seems like the stream chat is working. Give me a message in the chat to make sure that the overlay is working. I don't know if it's working. I did see some message come up on the screen earlier. Chat overlay is on. So let's see. Let's lock my Stream Deck to OBS. Okay, stream overlay seems to be on, but I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I think I got my chat thing labeled backwards. So when it says on, it's actually off. And my colors are backwards. Well, anyways, this doesn't have to be done right now. But I just wanted to make sure that that was at least partially working, and I just need to... It's a bit big, isn't it? Okay. Maybe that's just a bit too big. Huh. Did I zoom it in? Overlay. It seems like it's zoomed in. That's not right. Let's do one of these things. Transform, reset transform. That seemed like a good size. Everyone can read that. I mean, this is really just a kind of a thing for future viewers. But I mean, you might like to see your chat messages on the screen as well. So I don't know. Let's go to the chart, I guess. Unless you guys... I mean, feel free to ask any questions you want before we really get started. Yes, it's readable. Cool. Okay, so... I see chat but no names. Oh, yeah, that is all blacked out, isn't it? Seems small for phone screens. Yeah. That's right. Okay, I'll turn it off for now. And I'll keep working on trying to get that right. It's supposed to be simple. I've never had it work. So, you guys can see this at least, hopefully. So, there's the built-in Mackie control support from Reaper. There's driven by Moss, and I made a video on that. And there's the Clink extension, which I made a video on that just released yesterday. Then there's Relearn 2, which I haven't really gotten into yet, but I was talking to the creator of that, Benjamin, recently. If you guys saw this camera angle, you see I've got a Novation Launch Control XL. I only got that because it was really cheap at a pawn shop. And what I actually use it for is controlling like the volume of different apps via the Caster app, which is kind of cool. I feel like my music like stopped. I don't hear the music anymore. I think that was when Reaper started. Or I do hear it, but it's just very quiet. I don't know. Let's just change this to audio fuse for now. Music is just low. Man, I'm so scatterbrained today. That's why we're doing the stream, because I can't make sense of it on my own. Hey, Benjamin's here. So Benjamin Klum from, you can see him in the chat, he made Relearn as well as Playtime. I wish I could say it was my idea to make the chart. Somebody commented last night, I think it was, on my last video, just to like, you know, to make a chart. So I'm having a hard time keeping it all organized, but yeah. So I kind of want to end up with like a number score for each of the extensions. Where like Clink might lose points for not being cross-platform, but gain points because it has its own UI for doing various things, like plugin configuration and things like that. And then CSI might lose points for not having a UI for doing various things. Should also add in multiple controllers. Extenders, which is, that's sort of a different category. And what else? Well, up to you guys, actually. Why don't you go ahead and start making suggestions for different categories and things that we can kind of compare and rank these things. I also want to check if my overhead camera is working. Yeah, it seems to work. A bit delayed. I just plugged that in a minute ago, so. Effects auto mapping, great one. Sends and receives. I might have a hard time getting any links that you send. But if you could just sort of like, I mean, if you've done this work, this sort of ranking already, then I'd like to see that. Oh, a weighting system for sheets, I see. Markers and regions. And we can sort these later on. Track parameters. Track parameters. Can you... I don't know what you mean by track parameters. Okay, maybe it's like with driven by Moss, if you take some effects parameters, let's say the threshold of a compressor, the frequency for the low cut filter, whatever, and add those as parameters within the track. Let's just show that here. So I'll take REQ. I'll take the low shelf frequency param show in track controls, and then we'll take another effect, like, I don't know, this amp, and we'll take the treble control just as an example, and show in track controls. That's these knobs here in the TCP or in the mixer when there is size and when it's enabled in the master track. Show effects parameters, right? So driven by Moss and some of the others will allow you to, there's like a special page in the control surface layout for showing effects parameters, and they only show, or they show automatically if they're enabled as track parameters. Okay, effects track controls. Well, let's put that into a category, because that's sort of something that is FX track controls. That's something that is different depending on the layout that you choose, or the setup that you choose. I don't think that's built into the Reaper MCU. It isn't driven by Moss. I didn't notice it in Clink, but I honestly didn't try it. I think it's in Smart Knobs too, but I haven't gone into that one deeply yet. So I feel like maybe somebody, well, I guess I can verify it, but it'll just take me a few minutes to try these different things. But let's just put a yes here for now. Effects manual maps. I got effects auto mapping and yeah, effects. I think all the ones that do auto map also allow for manual mapping, but let's do advanced parameter mapping, like math or resolution or direction. I don't know. I know what that means, but yeah, maybe in the future people will know what that is. So we'll just say no, 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 yes, yes, maybe, and yes. MCU extenders built in, I would say that's a yes. That's a yes. It's a no. We'll say yes. It's all manually set up anyways. Yes and yes. Effects auto mapping. No, I don't think there's any plugin control with the built-in Reaper stuff. Auto mapping. No? Was there? I don't remember my own video. Clink doesn't do linked controls. Clink doesn't do reversing controls, or what's the other thing? Changing the resolution. I never got the VPOTs to work with the Clink, and at this point I'm unlikely to bring the control surface back over to the PC to set that up, because it's just a pain to film over there. The colors were all messed up because, like, I turned off the preview. Like, I got the lighting and everything right. I turned off the preview on that camera, and then I took my hair light here and turned it that direction, and it just put this orange cast over the entire lens. So it was like low contrast and a weird tint. So I tried to fix that. I don't know if anyone cares, but it bothered me a lot. Cross-platform. Yes, yes, no, yes, yes, and yes. Installation easy setup. Yes. Yes. Clink was... Yeah, Clink was yes. Relearn... I don't know. Is Benjamin still here? I would say Relearn is kind of on the harder side. But we'll say yes. Smart Knobs 2, that's going to be a no. And CSI, yes, ish. Yeah, installing Relearn 2 easy. There isn't a default configuration, and so you lose points on that. Smart Knobs, you have to use the MIDI ports on the X-Touch, so that's why it's getting a no. Default template, and I'm thinking like for the X-Touch has been around for like 7 years now, so it's kind of expected to have most of the features work out of the box. With the Reaper MCU, yes, it exists. Driven by Moss does, yes. Clink does. Relearn is a no for now. Smart Knobs, it's sort of. And CSI is a yes. Assignable user actions. I actually don't remember. VPOTs do work. I think they have some control over resolution, but I only found it by accident. Yeah, it may be one of those things where you actually have to edit a text file, the config file. But yeah, I just know, like, during the time that I spent with it, it wasn't intuitive to do it. It wasn't like mapping the faders. And why is it different than mapping the faders? So that's, yeah, that's a failure if it doesn't match mapping the faders. It should be the exact same process. Hey, Danny Gable, how's it going? I'm doing well. Scroll wheel resolution. Yeah, jog wheel. Speed, I guess. Now, I think some of that stuff is controlled by Reaper, but each extension does feel different. Okay. Assignable user actions. Am I gonna have to go back? Okay, I'll just look at the chapters of my video. And no, I don't want to go to comments. Hang on. Let's go to this camera. Oh, okay. Yeah, so in my chapters for the stock Reaper thing, how to assign actions to unused buttons, that's there. I forgot that I did that. So yeah, assignable user actions for Reaper MCU, we'll just say it's a yes. If I remember correctly, you are able to also assign the X-Touch as a MIDI device. Usually when you're using control surface, you can only use that as a control surface, and if you assign it in both places, in MIDI devices and in control surfaces, it just conflicts. But for whatever reason, using Reaper's built-in Mackie control setup with the X-Touch works just fine. And certain unassigned parameters, which I don't remember which ones were, I think it was probably the global view section on the X-Touch, that was able to be assigned to things in the action list. Clink does custom actions. Yes, it does. Driven by Moss. I don't remember if there were unassigned buttons. Relearn, yes, it's 100% user assigned actions. You're getting ready to carve a Les Paul top in a few minutes. Okay, well, don't let me distract you. I wouldn't want that to get messed up. CSI. Assignable user actions. We're going to say yes, because everything is configurable. Okay, is there a built-in UI for configuration? And this one is going to be over with the effects stuff. So that's a no, yes, 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 no. Yeah, I think it might not let me because I don't actually have this configured yet. I've changed this stuff so often that I don't have anything assigned permanently here. Driven by Moss. Okay. And then edit. Configure. There it is. Okay. Add Mackie MCU. Okay, and then okay, so the assignable buttons can be done in the foot switch section or any of the F keys up to F5. And so there's a couple preset ones, but also we can go to action list there. And then pressing select goes to the action list. And then that's assigned that way. So that is simple built-in UI. So we're going to say yes. It's only 5 actions, though. And that's why like just saying yes or no doesn't really work. It needs a bit of a weighing on the stuff. Because yes, you can assign user actions, but if it's only like 5 or 6, that's not as much as Clink, where there's 8 times 4 modifiers, which can be used in any combination. So 128, as far as I can tell. So quite a lot of them. There's a thing in CSI, but I don't know what it's called, or if it's CSI or Reaper, but the thing where a fader controls the last thing your mouse touched. I don't remember that in CSI. Okay, smart knobs, assignable user actions. That's going to be a yes, because the entire thing needs to be configured by the user. So every button and everything needs to be assigned. There's multiple layers. I didn't understand the layers sort of thing. Okay, multiple controllers will be a yes for all of these. Although it's, I don't know, with the, which one was it? The Clink one. You can have multiple controllers, but it doesn't support extenders. So you can't have a second controller doing channels 9 through 16. As far as I know, that's what the thing said. But you can have 2 controllers showing the same things, which you might want. The thing to control the last touch, I mean, you could configure that in most of these, as far as I can tell. There is like last touched effects parameter or last touched track. If I did Relearn as my main thing, I would probably use, or with the launch control, I would set it up so that the first fader is always volume, and then like the next 4 faders, well, I mean, there's so many different possibilities. I never know like what's the best way. But you could have like 4 sends. You could have the panning on one of them. You can use the knobs for sends. You can use the knobs for effects parameters, and make one layout that works for whatever selected track, rather than having 8 tracks kind of set up. I found it very confusing to work with a non-motorized fader, non-endless pot controller. But yeah, it works well enough for certain things. What's on the list? Effects auto mapping. It did, didn't it? I got this open. There was, what do I do? If I press plugin, close this. Plugin. Oh yeah, and then there was like, I never know if it's fader bank or, oh no, I didn't have the track selected, right? Select plugin. This whole thing of not knowing what page you're on or anything is quite annoying. Okay, so auto map, yes. Manual map, yes. For driven by Moss. Yes. Effects auto mapping. Manual map. Track controls. Advanced parameter mapping. Okay. Auto mapping was yes. Effects manual map. Yes. Right. I think that was right. I could adjust that. Is it Alt F3? No. Alt F2? Yes. So why is this underneath? I didn't have this pinned to the top. Why is it underneath? So yeah, you can adjust this. This needs refinement because it's way too slow. Like, it should at least start with one page, and you should be able to drag and drop or something, but it's like a lot of steps here. I'm kind of just complaining, but like, assign. It's just a lot of clicking for this. Right after you assign one, it should go to the next thing in the list. There's just a bunch of small little tweaks that they could do to make this like take 30 seconds instead of 30 minutes to assign things. And then it's missing the pots. You can't assign things to pots. You can only assign it to the faders, which, you know, that kind of sucks. And then also, I never know if that's going to save when I go to another project or anything like that. So I always ran into that issue. Effects manual mapping with driven by Moss was a yes. Clink was also yes. Relearn, yes. And auto mapping, no. Smart knobs. Maybe Benjamin should answer that one for auto mapping plugins. I'm pretty sure you have to do one parameter at a time. Did you link a thing? Hellman Fro? I didn't see anything. Yeah, you can use learn many. And CSI. Yeah, I guess yes and no. For CSI, there is a function to do it with this action. CSI write params to CSI zones when effects inserted. That gets you started. It's not a very good control surface layout for plugins most of the time. Yeah, I think I have all links disabled in the thing. I'm not seeing it in the list at all. So what was that? Effects auto mapping, sort of. Links are usually blocked. Let me switch cameras and see if there's a setting I can change. There's just so many spammers that, yeah, they're just instantly blocked. Anything like that. Yeah, it says URLs sent in live chat are already blocked, but I don't have a way of turning that off. I think you have to be a mod. And I don't, no offense, but I don't know you well enough to make you a mod. Yeah, I don't know you at all. Open a blank Google Sheet and then replace everything after /D with share it on Twitter. Yeah, if you share it on Twitter, I'll get it. Unless it's blocked there too. I'm at ReaperBlog. Anyway, what were we doing here? I mean, I'm fine with just giving it a numerical score, and then, you know, we'll try to, based on the number of categories, we'll try to make it out of 100 or something like that. And I don't know. Okay. Okay. I don't really know what I'm looking at here. Everything after D. Okay, I don't really get it. So lower number means that it's worth less, it's of less importance than the other values. And then this is the score that you gave the thing. I guess this is a store-bought PC, and then this is a DIY PC. And so, okay, I get it. Okay, and then that gives you a number out of 10. Okay, so I was going for a number out of 100, and I would just kind of do it manually. Or maybe just put in another row below each one to put in a number, and then automatically calculate from that. But something like cross-platform, that can be like maybe a score of 1, or maybe to some people that's like a score of 20. But let's just say like that's 1 point. Install, setup, ease. Yeah, I mean, if I find it difficult, then it's like probably more difficult than the majority of users will want to do. But yeah, but then anyone that can actually code things would find it incredibly simple. So I don't know. The Clink setup was easy, except it didn't work for me the first time. So I would rank that a little bit lower, I guess. You're a spreadsheet nerd? Yeah, I'm not at all. I do this stuff like I touch Google Docs maybe a couple times a year. Mostly it's just for like figuring out my taxes, and I'll just dump in an export from PayPal and just sort it. But yeah, like I barely touch this stuff. It's just something that it's one way to organize my thoughts. Reaper MCU manual map, that's a no. Right? Unless we would consider the built-in functions. But if... No, that wouldn't work, because there isn't like different layers that you can use with that. There isn't like an unused layer that you could assign to effects. Smart knobs, that's going to be a yes. Anyone use smart knobs here? Yeah, the weighting the categories is subjective. Like for me, like if there's no plugin UI or configuration UI, that's not a huge negative, because like if it exists, that's a bonus. But if it doesn't exist and you are able to do all the advanced parameter mapping, or there are some shortcuts to making an effect mapping, then it's still better. So like overall, I might rank CSI higher for that category than Driven by Moss, because there is the potential to do everything exactly as I want it, even though there's nothing within Reaper that I can do that with. I don't know. There's like the ease of use and just the straightforwardness of the Driven by Moss or the Clink plugin mapping, but then like Relearn has a million options for every parameter that you add, which is good and bad. It's overwhelming for me personally. And with CSI, you gotta look on the forum what everything is, and then check the wiki, and then still a lot of trial and error sometimes. But in the end, you get it exactly as you want it. Is this it for categories? Yeah, feel free to add any more categories that you might want here. Jog wheel speed, and really, this is a feel thing, I guess. Okay, is there sends and receives on the built-in Reaper MCU? I don't think there was sends. No. Did I mention sends? I don't think I did that sends in that. So I guess that's going to be a no for that. It's a yes for this, yes for this. Relearn can use sends, Smart Knobs can use sends, and CSI can use sends. Let's do add markers. And then add regions, marker, region, navigation. What else? The track, what is it? Track height. Okay, so what I'm thinking here with the track height and zoom, they all pretty much work the same, where if we've got a bunch of tracks here, this button. So I'm in the Driven by Moss thing, and if I press the, you probably can't see that very clearly, but I've got the zoom mode enabled. If I press the up button, that is, there we go. The down button will increase the track height. But the cool thing, or really the coolest thing, and the only one I've seen implement this, if you hold down the zoom button and then turn the knob, never mind, it didn't work. Oh, come on. Okay, it's the arrow keys. I thought it was holding down the zoom button. But yeah, you can hold down one of these buttons, and then you can adjust using the jog wheel. So like for me, that gets the top marks. That's 10 out of 10. That's the best way to implement that. And it was such a joy to be surprised finding that. So the Clink one did not do that. It didn't use the jog wheel with the jog. and the Reaper MCU does not. And then the other 3, I guess that's something that I could maybe add myself. If I share the link to this sheet, I can make a copy and fancy it up. Okay, yeah, if you want to worry about formatting as I'm just chatting, I could probably do that. Yeah. Is that edited? Open. Editor? I don't know if I want to open this up for editing for anyone. Hang on. Can I whisper? No. Well. Okay. Well. This is already too complicated. You're adding a bit of friction that I wasn't anticipating, so. Not right now. I'm not going to worry about the formatting. Effects track controls. Let's do Clink MCU. Does anyone know that? That's not something I tried. I think that's I think it was a no. I don't think there's auto maps. Bet CSI could do it with modifier buttons. Yeah, I think so. You can, because you can do any button as like different types of triggers, like momentary, on release, that sort of thing. Yeah, but even like if you hold shift and then jog wheel, that would still be better than not having that function at all. Okay. Okay, so let's take a track. We'll do Relearn. And let's go to this. Go to this. I think I need to... no, I'll leave that for now. This needs MIDI input and output. Right? Is that right? And then I set this to not record. Disabled. Okay. You do learn 1 if I move this. Nothing learned. Okay, that did learn. So there's no need to record on the track anymore? I thought you did need to. I may be thinking about the old version. But thank you. It's good to have you here. Okay, so I've learned that. So if I take another plugin and let's put on, do I not have my favorite reverb on here? Okay, put little plate on here. And take this knob, make that a track control, right? So this track has track control. If I go to edit, can I link it to like a track parameter automatically? Track effects. I don't think so. I don't think that's points off for that, but oh, nice. One sec. Spam bots. Jason, would you mind deleting those comments? You're now a moderator. Okay, well, I can do learn target and then move this knob, and that links that there. Okay, and then, yeah, so, but unfortunately, that did not link it. Right, source is this, and target is this. But it's not moving. Oh, control input. That's what it is. Right? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Is that what I need to do? There we go. Okay, I eventually figured it out. Control input. Yeah, yeah. It's very advanced, and I get overwhelmed with all the things because everything kind of looks the same to me. I don't think you've done a bad job with this at all. It's just a lot of things to do. Yeah, and it's been like a year since I watched a video. When you did the Relearn 2 update, I haven't looked at this stuff really at all since then. But I can figure it out most of the time on my own. In this example, why is this better than directly linking with Reaper? One reason is that you can save this. You can save Relearn as a preset or a template, and then it's always going to be linked when you use that template. You can also do all the sorts of math things that you want. So the target can be like track ID, this selected track, all these sorts of things, certain effects, and what was it? There's a modifier, and I can't remember. Oh yeah, you can scale it so that it never goes above 56%. Yeah, which is kind of cool. Oh yeah, Or not on that controller. So when I move this, it doesn't go above 56%. That's very simple to set up. It's nice. It's just 2 sliders to do that. You cannot do that with the built-in Reaper plugin linking. And you can't do that in what do you call it? In Driven by Moss or Clink. You could probably do it in Smart Knobs, and you can definitely do it in CSI. But there's no UI for it, so it kind of loses points for that. So we're going to call that a yes for Smart Knobs. I'm pretty sure you can do anything that you want. Synchrotron, welcome. Hey, David. Hi, David. Nice. XR18, I've used those a little bit via the internet. I've done some lessons with people that have those. But yeah, X-Touch plus the XR18 is a pretty cool combination. You bought it because of me? That's always weird to hear. But yeah, that's cool. The X-Touch is just great. I should have bought one a long time ago. It was like doing one album without a controller at all that pushed me over the edge, and I had to buy one. Jog wheel, what was that thing? All right, so jog wheel, scrub, no. Oh yeah, it doesn't scrub unless there's items in the project, right? Yeah, I feel like the Driven by Moss one does work the best, just out of the gate. But there is modifiers for that, right? I always forget where they are. Is it not under editing behavior? Seeking? No. Yeah. These are my settings for scrub. Scrub jog. I hate the scrub function. Like, I hate hearing the sound playing back slowly or fast. So I always turn that off. Faster responding jog. Should try that. I don't know. Seems okay. Can this add markers? Navigate by markers? I think you could add markers. I want to say yes for that. Pretty sure I could on the BCF, so yes. You popped in for some streaming tips? Okay, I'm all ears. Let me know what your tips are. You bought the Novation because of me. You bought the launch control? I don't even remember talking about it online. Maybe you got the what is it called? The Nocturne. The Nocturne. I'm no expert on streaming, but why is scrub a thing? Yeah, I mean, scrub is important for those that are visually impaired. Like, it's an important feature to have, and that's how a lot of people learned how to edit, but I find it so much slower and annoying. Yeah. Adding markers can be done by all solutions that support actions. Yeah, okay, that's true. So, yeah, maybe that's not a good category, but yeah. So I put that on there thinking about the default setup, taking advantage of the marker button on the controller. And so they get a different rank, I would say. But, all right, we'll put a yes for everything. If it can by stock, it should in any of the extensions as well. Now, regions, I don't think you can do regions on its own. Let's remove that. Add in. Yeah, this one. Okay. Marker. Marker button, press it. You press it once, it puts in a marker. And then, well, I mean, the weird thing is the light. I don't know if you guys can really see that too clearly, but you press the marker button once and then it lights up. Can you see? It's green. And then the next marker you go to, or next marker you create, the light goes out. So, kind of weird. Where it's supposed to be it's supposed to be like a mode. Well, the other things use it as a mode. Now, can I hold shift? Let's make a time selection. Shift and marker. Shift and marker does make a region, so this, yeah, we'll say yes. Mostly it works well. How about making selections as a category? So the, what were the F1? Oh no, I assigned those manually, didn't I? I think I assigned that manually. So the F buttons didn't do anything by default with the built-in one. The Nocturne. Yeah, the Nocturne, I wish that they kept supporting that a couple more years. I just got rid of my desktop one, took it to a pawn shop, but I still have the keyboard one. Because it's still, because it's still a good keyboard, but I don't really use it anymore. Because the X Touch is going to have better plugin support in the end. So right now that's just a spare. And even though they don't support any that thing anymore, they don't have the AutoMap software anymore, you can still use it as a generic MIDI controller. So it still has, I think, 8 channels of MIDI with pre-configured knobs. So it's still of some use. And the knobs and stuff still feel good. Touch sensitive, you can't find that. Add a category for ease of use within 1 to 10 values. Yeah, I've got that for setup, but yeah. Overall ease of use. There's quite a bit of pain with any of these. Window management as a category, I think that's good. There's a graphical effects mapper for CSI. Oh. If you know the name of it, I would like to check that out. I will need to check that out. But one of the problems, okay, I got to put in here support. And what else? There's something else. I lost it. This is an easy one for me to answer. So support, Reaper MCU, no, not really, because it has not changed ever. Yes, good support. Clink MCU, no, I got no answer on the forum after 18 days or something like that. Relearn 2, great support. Smart Knobs 2, yes, great support. CSI, yes, great support. Documentation. I'm kind of making the documentation, so all of these will get like +1 points. Yeah. So on the Mac, that's the only way to use it right now, but the desktop one doesn't work like that. You need the AutoMap software running, and that's why I ended up getting rid of it. But if you're on Windows, it'll still work. Windows 10, at least, still works with it. I don't think I ever tried it on Windows 11, because, like, yeah, I've ever since I got the M1 Mac Mini, my Reaper has been there, so I haven't really gone back to the Windows at all. But yeah, if you have the desktop one, it's limited a little bit, but the full-size keyboard, that will work as just a generic dumb keyboard, but it'll still have aftertouch and stuff like that, so it's still pretty decent. Okay. Documentation. Written documentation. No. Yes. Ben, you've got a manual, right? For Relearn? Pretty sure you do. Is there a link to the manual in the plugin? No. Is there a user guide button? Relearn. No. Header panel? I'm not seeing it. Oh yeah, the projection thing. Forgot about that. I'm not seeing it. You see the issue? Users don't find it? Yeah. I'm clicking everywhere, but click the empty space. Oh, yeah. Help. Yeah, a help button. Maybe bottom left. Okay, yeah, your documentation's great, if I can find it. I would also suggest putting a link or like the same functions here for these two in the action list. Okay. Okay, this is broken because the row. Yeah. Okay. I'll just put that into a sheet. Now that works. Okay. So I'll grab the other things. Hellman Fro is my spreadsheet wizard. All right. So if I need spreadsheet help, I'm going to contact you. Thank you. That looks good. So we can actually rank these now. And I bet you know a way of like automatically coloring them and stuff too. But yeah, okay. So I don't know if we're actually going to get to ranking these today, but yeah. What time is it? 12. I should eat. Yeah, making selections. Can you make a selection with the thing? Yes? Right. Okay, so if I'm here, and then... Okay, that parks the edit cursor. If I hold shift... No, that's the expected thing. No. If I press shift and then make selection, no. Or move the thing. So I'm going to say no. That's not... It's not possible to make a selection between markers or anything like that. And what... That's the default. Okay. I always forget. Can't make selections. Conditional formatting, color, scale. Do I need to do something for the column so that it fills all the way down to the bottom? Or something? Okay. All right, so we'll switch to driven by Moss. If I press shift, that's a zoom. All right, so if I press, no, markers mode. Is that not how that worked? Was there not a marker navigation mode in Driven by Moss? I was sure there was. Okay, well, I did think of something here. Special features. So, for special features, Driven by Moss has the browser, which is... What button was it? What button was it? User button. That one. There's another one. Preset. Oh yeah, preset browser never worked for me. Plugin, and then I press user. No, I press option user, and that brings up the thing, and I can go the navigation thing. No, with the knobs. That's what it was. We'll put in the 4-channel limiter. Sure, and I press the enter key, and did not add. It sure didn't. Nope. Did it again. I gotta press option, grab an effect, and then press the knob in, right? I thought it was just enter. I'll press OK. Supposed to do it, but... Control user? No. I thought you could press the button. Was it not? I don't know. Okay, so Driven by Moss has that preset browser or plugin browser. Kind of cool, nice that you can categorize it. It is not great. Great in concept, bad in execution, or middle of the road execution. Let's rate that let's rate it as a 6. I think there's a lot of potential for that to be great. Relearn 2 has the... Where is it? The projector thing. Projection. So you can use an iPad or something to see the layout of everything that's assigned. So that is very cool. I don't know if I will use it personally, but I'm not in that stage of making that video yet, so I don't know. But yeah, I'll give that a 7. I think that's an interesting thing. Trying to think of a thing in smart knobs that is quite unique, but really it's like just the whole thing, like the control map creator, this thing, that's a pretty unique feature in itself. So it also looks like a lot of work that I don't want to do. This thing is just so incredibly complex. But yeah. Does that count as a special feature? It's like the core of the product. Processor use? I don't know if I can measure that. I haven't run into a situation where it would be an issue. I've heard that with like 300 tracks or so, then that can be an issue, like jumping between tracks. But then I also saw one of the developers have a solution for that, and it's just like some toggle to turn off. Yeah, I mean, it's worth investigating. I find Reaper stuff is generally kind of hard to benchmark anyways, especially when CPU is like quite low. On a M1 Mac, it's like low and moderate use. It's sometimes higher CPU load than if the project was more complex, because it's using the efficiency cores instead of the high performance cores. It gets difficult. Okay, so support for MCU, we'll give it a 2 because I made a video on it. Driven by Moss is gonna be like an 8, I guess. Clink is gonna be like a 5. Relearn is gonna be 8. And Smart Knobs, 8. I'll just go 8 across the rest because these are actively developed with a lot of users. Written documentation, 1. Well, the good thing about the built-in stock stuff is that it's finite. It's not constantly changing. And I don't know if there is like a manual just for that. It's just going to be basically getting a control surface and trying every button and checking the undo history and then checking the most recent actions. That's how I figure this stuff out most of the time. If I can't visually see something happening, that's how I figure if a button is assigned to anything or not. Those messages will be deleted soon. Processor use. Yeah, I don't know how to really measure that. But I mean, I guess I could just make a heavy session and then run it without the control surface active and with it. And we'll see if that makes a difference. I don't think it'll make much of a difference because it's really only just sending some MIDI messages. All right. Making selections. That was a 0. Driven by Moss, I gotta rank it a 0 because you can't make selections. Marker navigation. Yeah, that's a 0. That's not. No, marker navigation for this one is actually 1. Driven by Moss. Yeah, that's just nudging. That's not... That's not going by markers. Oh, but there is this. Does that count? I don't know if that should count. This is less intuitive to me. So, if you can't see that, this is... No, you can't see that. So, the marker names are listed here. I'm going to rename marker 5. So you can see that marker 5 is there. And if I press it, Reaper goes to that marker and starts playing. So I don't really like that type of marker navigation. It exists, but I don't know what kind of rank this should have. Let's rank this a 2. If this is a 2 out of 2, and this would be a 1 out of 2. Are you able to actively flip through the extensions real time here? Sort of. I think I am. I've been going between the built-in and the driven by Moss. And then I've got the other, like, Relearn and Smart Knobs just in Windows without the controller connected to them. So overall ease of use with the built-in Reaper MCU. On one hand, it's finite, it's not changing, but it's limited. So, like, if you want a feature, it's not going to be developed. If you find a bug, it's probably not going to be fixed. The core functions all work fine. I thought it was very intuitive. You could live with it easily, but it's lacking certain things like the effects controls. Sends and receives as well. So let me check that. I don't remember. I don't think it has sends. Let me check one more time. All right, so I got track 1 selected. I press the send button. Oh. Driven by Moss is still active, isn't it? Yeah, I might actually have to quit Reaper. The demons are moving the faders. Okay. 2 tracks. Track 1 sends to track 2. Press the send button. And nothing happens because that's not implemented. And now I remember that those encoder assign functions do not work for the thing. The thing with the thing. So sends and receives for the Reaper MCU, that's a 0. Driven by Moss. Do we talk about that? I don't know if that's a 10. All right, we'll check it. Okay, so track 1 is selected. I press the send button. Now I see that there is a send for track 2 there. And if I select track 2, I can see the receive for track 1, right? If I have a third track 3 is selected. No, this is still controlling the send on track 1. So I go back to pan mode, select track 3, press send. Huh. I think this is just showing me all sends in the project. I got 10 tracks. Yeah. This is just showing me sends in the entire project. So I'll send to track 3, and I'll send to track 4. So track 1 is selected, and I press how does that work again? There, that each tap it. Oh, you can't see. There's an overlay. Send 1 to track 2, send 2 to track 3. If you're looking at the controller, you easily miss that. So yeah, it's good. All right, so this is going to be like a... Am I supposed to rank... Am I supposed to mark these as like between a 0 and 2 if the weighting is 2? Or is it always everything in this section going to be ranking out of 10? Because some of these are... doesn't need to be that granular. Copy any of the red or green cells. Select the cells you want to format. Paste. Formatting only. Paste. Okay. Copy. And then... paste special. Format only. Let's ban that user. That wasn't supposed to happen? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have trouble like this all the time. I don't know. Like, it got the color, but it got the alignment. But that's it. It didn't get the conditional formatting. Weighting's importance from 1 to 10. Okay, I'll just change these to like 1 and 10. So that was a 10, and this is a 5, I guess. Yeah. I could probably just do this, right? No. Yeah? I never know. I'll do something like that. I'm not worried about it. The math probably doesn't make sense yet. We're not complete with this. Sends and receives in the Clink extension was that felt like the most intuitive so far. I don't know if I would have any complaints about how that worked. So to recap the Clink one, you select a track, press send, like tap on the send button. Then all the sends for that track are shown there. and all the receives for that track will be shown there for the selected track. You can change track selection, that updates. There's also the function where you hold down the send button, and then the sends will appear, or sends and receives will appear for that track. When you release send, it goes back to the default pan mode. So for me, that was the most intuitive way of showing the sends. There's no heads-up display needed. It showed everything relevant, in my opinion. So that's super good. I don't remember how CSI does it at all. Edit. Figure. Remove. Okay. Add. CSI. Okay, with CSI, if I have track 1 selected, press send. That's changing the grid. What? Why is that changing the grid? Man, I don't remember this layout at all. Okay, that's a question mark, because that is not working how I expected. Actually, let's go to the action list. Find shortcut, press the send button, and that's not even, I don't know. We'll put that as a 5, because that's a big question mark, really. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can answer that yet. Sends for relearn. If I do... Well, the thing is, there isn't like a default configuration for the X-Touch. So I can't really show that one yet. Okay. I think I've decided we're going to make the built-in Reaper functions as a 5 out of 10. Because I feel like for most users, they could get by with just that. They'd be pretty happy with just that. It's still worth using the controller for. When I had the BCF 2000, I probably used that for like 4 or 5 years with just the built-in stuff before I tried CSI. And yeah, it's really only missing plugins and sends. So, well, I mean, from this chart, I'm missing a lot, but you know, day-to-day use, really, if you can control 8 tracks at a time for volume and sends, or volume and pan, I mean, transport controls, automation, you can do a lot of stuff with just that. So that's why it gets 5 out of 10. Everything else has to at least have that baseline to be better than that. But these last 3 require so much setup. Relearn 2, Smart Knobs 2, CSI, they require so much setup that I don't think I don't know if I can consider them to be at least a 5 from the start. I don't know. So there are no special features for the built-in Reaper MCU. Clink had, what did they have? Really just the UI was kind of nice. Oh no, they had the track navigation function that I didn't really explore, but there's some comments about that and saying that was really good. So I'll rank that a 3. It's overall pretty flexible. Smart knobs 2. I don't know what's really special about it. I'm gonna put 5. Special features for CSI. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 2. So I've used CSI with my previous controller, and you know, there's nothing like visually interesting that, you know, heads-up display or the plugin editor or any of that sort of stuff. There isn't like the projector thing. So I'm gonna rank that at a 2. Written documentation driven by Moss was, I'd say that's probably a 5. The Clink stuff, probably a 3. I struggled with that one a lot. Relearn is going to be like a 9. Smart knobs, I don't know. You like the background music? This is 65 Days of Static record systems. It's just basically like a AI generated sort of thing, algorithmically generating this music as a live stream. It's also on YouTube. I like it. This is, you know, this track here is similar to the No Man's Sky soundtrack, so I like it. Ticker Gerbs, yeah. You found the Clink manual pretty clear? Well, I found some spelling mistakes in it. I know that English isn't his first language, so I can let that go, but it's also like 12 years old. And it's not actively developed. So I don't know. I found it confusing. But I don't know. It exists. The manual is there, which is good. I wouldn't be able to do anything without the manual. There were some links to videos, but they required Flash Player, and like nobody's used Flash Player for a long time, so I couldn't play it. But I have to admit, I didn't go on YouTube and look for any new tutorials or anything like that. Like, I should be able to either intuitively figure it out just by my own experience with using Reaper for this long, or by just using the manual. I ran into some issues that I couldn't resolve. I went on the Reaper forum, asked a question. 2 days later, did a follow-up. I got one reply, and I think they're in the chat here. But no reply from the developer, and really no replies, no answers from the community. So, you know, that's kind of why that one ranks low. I didn't want to bring that stuff up in the tutorial, but it definitely affects how I think about that software. Smart knobs to written documentation. I think it's good. Is there a user guide built in here? I don't think so. I know it's here somewhere. Smart Knobs is distributed through repacks within here, isn't it? Maybe under LBX? LBX. Smart Knobs. Data. It's here somewhere. I'm sure there's one. Manual. There it is. Manual was pretty good. These... Oh, yeah. Setup. Yeah. Ease of use setup. I already ranked that low. Yeah, so... I'll rank it a 4. It was undesirable. I was definitely confused at a stage before the first video tutorial. So just like physically setting it up was confusing and contradictory in the user guide. So maybe they've updated that since then. I don't know. But there's, yeah, just a lot of warnings and stuff in here that makes it difficult to learn. But the user guide does exist, so that is... I'll look mean if I rank it below a 7. All right, the Clink one, we'll call it a 5. 5. Driven by Moss is like a 7. And Smart Knobs, I guess I'll do a 6. It's recent, at least. So it's actively developed. There's lots of pictures. But I think there's some conflicting information between the videos and the text and what's in the forum. And then CSI, it's the wiki and it's always hard to find. I don't know. So I have to rank that one a little bit lower. More like a 6. Okay, adding markers with MCU. Yeah, so that's like a 10 out of 10. Adding markers with Driven by Moss. I don't know. Did it? Didn't I do this already? Oh yeah, that was a yes for all of them, but I didn't rank it out of 10. Mars asked, have you tried CSI_effects as a UI mapper for CSI effects zones? I haven't. I've not looked at the CSI stuff recently, but let's do that. It was CSI_FX. No. Okay. Okay. I've got an image file from the forum. So I've seen this before. CSI effects. I need more information. Where did that come from? Is that in repack? I'll sync my packages. Who made this? User-made templates. That's a category. Let's move that up. Oh, I'm on the wrong list again. Okay, so for CSI, there are some pre-made, but then on the other hand, they haven't been updated for the recent versions, so kind of a low ranking. Relearn, I think there was somewhere that you could download a thing. And Clink, it's more like a not applicable. Driven by Moss. Was there user-made templates? I can't remember. I can't get any links in the chat. Links are automatically deleted. I can't turn that off. Give me the Reaper like thread ID or something to search in the stash. Okay, relearn. I know that there is like a stash or something. Available presets. Controller presets. Unofficial. Is there X-Touch? There's compact. Mini. Okay, it doesn't look like there is one for the X-Touch, the Relearn. CSI effects beta by MT4U. Okay. So user-made templates, there are some, they exist. Smart Knobs 2, I gotta rate that low because templates exist for the X-Touch, but you have to join their Discord. And then you have to search for it in Discord, and that's always a pain. So that's where that is. CSI, there was the website preset or yeah, CineArc. There's these, but this is pretty old. But these do work with the older version of CSI. And if you search for the X-Touch, where is the search? There's a search. Yeah, there's one there, but it's also built into CSI. So there's one just included. We find CSI, Reaper, user plugins, no, Reaper/CSI. Surfaces, MIDI, C4, MCU, MCU XT, X-Touch 1, X-Touch, and X-Touch XT. So those are all made in August. So yeah, user-made templates. Yeah, because that's made for, I don't know. We'll give it a 7. I want to rate it higher because it includes one that works well for the controller I own, but then the available ones made by other users are out of date and may not work. Mackie control preset usable with X-Touch. Okay, so okay, help me out with that. I'm going to make sure all control surfaces are closed, make a track, add in recently used Relearn, and then preset, main preset dot control, and okay. But then, okay, controller input. Is that right? No. No. Main. Controller Mackie control? What? Oh, there it is. I see. Wait, why don't I see all tracks? No. Okay. But then where do I control input and feedback input? Okay. And then X-Touch. And X-Touch. Okay. How do I get it to start? Does this still need a MIDI input? Oh, connect the button. It's right there on my screen. It's just because I am used to, this is a plugin, not a control surface thing. And that is, I just need to enable it for control, right? Control only, and enable output.
Welcome to Wreckage Systems from 65 Labs. For more information, please visit Wreckage
Faders haven't come up. Input, not control? Hi, Yuri. Thank you so much for the message. Just enable input. Okay. And no output? I think I still need output. So on the controller, I'm seeing that the select lights are coming up. I can see the time change. It may still be conflicting with another controller, but jog sort of functions. It says connected but disabled. Ah, okay. I just restarted the plugin. Track colors. I don't know if you can see this on the thing, but track colors, that's a thing. So that's a 0. This is a, I guess it gets a 10 if it works. Clink is a 0. Relearn 0, maybe. Smart knobs 10 and 10. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you don't output a color, right? It does have track color? Okay. We'll do a video together once I get to that point, but I'll take your word for it right now. I don't see it, but if you say it's there, that's there. So where I would look for it is in here. Or, you know, it should just be in there in the thing. Sup, nerds. All right, so I edit the mapping group. No, I added the... Question from Yuri. Does anyone know a way to stick track automation envelope to media item contents so that when I alt move the item contents, the track automation moves with it? Yeah, you won't be able to do that. You could do it with track. You can move items with, you can move track automation with item automation. No, with, oh my God. You can move tracks and make the track, oh my God. I give up. You can move the items and have the track automation follow. but the dragging of envelopes or dragging of media contents does not affect track envelopes. Let's see if it affects these. You can do it with item envelopes only, track envelopes only. All right, well, anyways, I'm not too worried about the color. So I see tracks. If I press the... So all the encoder assign buttons, these don't have any effects out of the box. Global view, these other things, they don't make a difference. Which means that, like, send view doesn't... won't work without some user setup. Okay. The select buttons are sticky. Is that what you would call it? Persistent. Which... Is that how the built-in one works? I think it does. That might be a category worth having. No. No, that's just not working at all. Okay. So MCU is supposed to work like that, but it may not be how you prefer it to work. So track selection sticky or not. Give user templates a weighting on B6. Okay. Like that. So with the built-in MCU stuff, track selection is sticky. I mean, this is personal preference, but I find it slow that way. On the other hand, no. This one thing needs so much context. With the built-in MCU, you can control you can make multiple selections and control them together. With the Clink MCU, you need to hold down the Shift button first, or the Control button, to make multiple selections. With Driven by Moss, you can't make multiple selections. With CSI, it's probably... I don't know. I think you need to choose. What the hell? Okay, I got it back. What was I gonna look up? Shit, what the hell was I just talking about? Track selection. Are track selection sticky? No, they're not sticky. But can you hold down the control key and add to it? Yes, you can. Okay. So that, I guess my preference is not having sticky track selection. So I'd rate this a 0. But also, the track selection works exactly as it does in Reaper. So that should be a 5. Or more. I don't know. Shout out to Driven by Moss. Yeah, he does. It's a good extension. If there weren't these other ones that I wanted to explore and document and shine a light on a little bit, I would probably just stick with the Driven by Moss. Only item envelopes can be stuck to contents, not track ones. Exactly. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of like a workaround for that, but probably, I don't know. I guess you would have to actually edit the item, trim handles to bring it to where you want it to go, and then drag it on the track, and that will move the envelope to the left. I don't know. You might also be able to solve the problem with if you've got some automation stuff here, you might be able to just do a razor edit here, and then I guess razor edit this and just shift that over if you wanted to shift it by that much, something like that. It's just one of 1,000 possible setups. Relearns like Lego. Yeah. Okay, so Gem is using Relearn. No, using Driven by Moss with the push 2. It's not working on Monterey. Yeah. I'm not gonna pressure any devs to support Monterey yet. It's only been less than a month, I think. And, you know, all the big companies are way behind, so the single developer people are, you know, give them lots of slack. Give them lots of time to update. It does suck when your devices don't work. But, yeah. Okay, so Gem has switched to Windows for now. Okay, it's 1 o'clock here, and I haven't eaten. I'm 2 hours behind on eating today, so I gotta go. I think we've made some meaningful process of. I feel like a lot of the scattered thoughts I have about these devices and stuff has been sort of resolved or sort of more well organized, but I think I think there's a lot of things to think about with these control surface options. For now, I gotta go eat, and yeah, hopefully this turns into something that people find useful in the end. But I think it's been a pretty interesting stream to talk about these functions. So that's where we're gonna end it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys again another time. Thanks for stopping by. See you guys.